Both Pierre Gasly and Esteban Ocon are out of agreement toward the finish of the season. The all-French matching of Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly start their second season together at Alpine. Gasly, 28, completed 11th in the standings toward the finish of the 2023 season, one spot higher than 27-year-old partner Ocon. The two drivers, who were lifelong companions experiencing childhood in Normandy prior to dropping out during their karting days, crashed into one another at the third race of the 2023 season in Australia, an occurrence Gasly later called the most exceedingly terrible situation conceivable for the new colleagues. Fernando Alonso won most of Aston Martin's focuses last season, with Spearwalk contributing a little more than a fourth of them. Two-time title holder Fernando Alonso, who will turn 43 this year, completed fourth in the driver's title in 2023 and got 8th platform in his Lady Crusade with Aston Martin. The Spaniard, victor of 32 races during his long profession, first ventured into AF1 vehicle at the Australian Fabulous Prix in 2001 for Minardi, 1 month before McLaren driver Oscar Piastri was born. Lance Walk, in the meantime, missed pre-season testing last year following a cycling mishap, however recuperated so as to partake in the opener in Bahrain, where he completed 6th. The 25-year-old finished the year 10th in the title, 132 focuses behind colleague Alonso. Charles Leclerc finished ahead of teammate Carlos Sainz in the driver standings last year. This will be the final season that Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz both line up at Ferrari after the shock announcement Lewis Hamilton will join the Italian team in 2025. Sainz, 29, was the only non-Red Bull driver to win a Grand Prix in 2023, sealing his second career victory at the Marina Bay Circuit in Singapore. The Spaniard also put his car on pole position twice and finished on the podium 3 times in total. Leclerc was 5th in the standings last year, level on 206 points with Fernando Alonso. But despite securing pole for 5 Grand Prix, the 26-year-old Monegasque driver failed to convert any of his front row spots into a race victory. In January, Leclerc extended his contract with the team for several more seasons to come. Haas closed the 2023 season lower part of the Constructors' Championship. Haas, similar to each and every group on the lattice for 2024, are staying with an unaltered lineup following a troublesome 2023 mission where the US-based group completed lower part of the Constructors' Championship. German Nico Hülkenberg, who substituted Mick Schumacher for 2023, scored places in the primary race in Melbourne and run occasion at the Austrian Fantastic Prix. Magnussen, 31, gathered 3 focuses across 21 races last year, leaving the Dane 19th in the title and 6 focuses untied of his kid colleague. Both Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri shared the platform at the Qatar Terrific Prix in 2023. McLaren made a drowsy beginning to the 2023 season, however, the group quickly returned to beat Aston Martin to 4th place in the Constructors' title race. Briton Lando Norris is one more driver who marked another arrangement throughout the colder time of year break, committing his drawn-out future with McLaren until basically the finish of 2026. The 24-year-old arrived on the platform multiple times in 2023, 6 of those in runner-up, and completed 1 point behind Charles Leclerc and Fernando Alonso in the standings. Oscar Piastri, the most youthful driver on the lattice at mature 22, is beginning his second spell with McLaren following an effective newbie crusade. The Australian won a turbulent Qatar run race, then at that point completed second behind Max Verstappen in the Principal Fabulous Prix, subsequent to beginning 6th on the framework. Lewis Hamilton completed 3rd in the driver standings last year, while George Russell was 8th. 7-time title holder Lewis Hamilton is saying farewell to Mercedes toward the finish of the 2024 season, following 11 years with the Silver Arrows. Hamilton concurred a long-term managed the Scuderia in February in perhaps the greatest move in Equation 1 history. However, will the change bring about a revisitation of winning ways? The 39-year-old has not been on the top step of the platform since the Saudi Middle Eastern Fantastic Prix in 2021. He did, notwithstanding, secure his 104th post position at the Hungaroring in July. Now in his 3rd season with Mercedes, 26-year-old George Russell will expect a more effective mission this time around, subsequent to finishing 2023, a disheartening 8th in the title, with only 2 third-place wraps-up from 22 races. Red Bull praised their 6th Constructors' crown, and 2nd straight in 2023 thanks to Max Verstappen's proceeded with mastery over the remainder of the field. The Dutchman, 26, lifted his third continuous driver's title in October, timing up 19 triumphs in 22 races, establishing another F1 record for the most wins in succession with 10, and completing 290 focuses clear of second set Sergio Perez in the standings. Verstappen's colleague Perez opened last season with 2 successes in 4 Grands Prix, yet the Mexican couldn't keep up his initial structure, and before long, tracked down his seat at the group under serious pressure. The 34-year-old experienced 2 impacts and 2 5-second time punishments at Suzuka in Japan, then at that point crashed out on the initial lap before his home fans in Mexico. Daniel Ricciardo raced in 7 Grands Prix last year and finished just 11 points behind teammate Yuki Tsunoda. Red Bull's sister team has been given a makeover for the new season. Out goes AlphaTauri and in comes RB. But the driver lineup remains the same. Daniel Ricciardo, 34, was sitting on the sidelines this time last year after parting ways with McLaren, but the Australian was drafted in to take the place of Dutchman Nick de Vries halfway through the 2023 season. His comeback stalled, however, when he broke a bone in his left hand in practice for the Dutch Grand Prix in August, resulting in New Zealander Liam Lawson stepping into the car for 5 races until Ricciardo had recovered. Japanese driver Yuki Tsunoda, 23, struggled to consistently finish in the top 10 last season, and his best race position was 8th at both the United States and Abu Dhabi Grands Prix. Alfa Romeo becomes Sauber for the 2024 season, yet the group has chosen to stay with a similar driver, matching up Valtteri Bottas, and Zhou Guanyu. Zhou, 24, begins his 3rd year in Resp 1 and will get to encounter his home race this year when the Chinese Stupendous Prix gets back to the schedule following a 4-year absence. Bottas, who made his presentation on the network with Williams in 2013 and scored 10 race triumphs during his experience with Mercedes, completed 15th in the title a year ago. A positive season for Alex Albon in 2023 lifted Williams from last spot in the constructors' standings in 2022 to 7th last year. The 27-year-old Thai English driver scored 27 of the group's 28 focuses, with top 10 completions at any semblance of Silverstone, Monza, and the Canadian Grands Prix. American Logan Sargent, 23, praised scoring his most memorable F1 point at the U.S. Fantastic Prix because of the exclusions of Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc.